Away from that, police are on a manhunt for a fetish priest who's alleged to have requested body parts from the two teenagers who murdered an 11-year-old boy in Kasoa in the central region. The two young men, 16 and 17, are currently in police custody. The suspects are alleged to have lured the deceased to an uncompleted building and hit his head with a club, killing him instantly. According to the suspects, a fetish priest in the Volta region told them to bring body parts for money. Here's Deputy Public Relations Officer of the Central Region Police Command, Sergeant Evans Anti. He says the suspects are still in the police custody, but is calling on the general public to assist with further information that can lead to the arrest of the priest.
On the 3rd of April 2021, at 10:15 in the morning, the Kasoa Divisional Police Command received a distress call that there has been a ritual murder at Coca-Cola near Lamte Mills, a suburb of Kasoa. The police proceeded to the crime scene and saw a young boy in a pool of blood in the uncompleted building. Initial investigations done by the police revealed that the deceased's name was Ishmael Mensah, who's of 11 years of age, and that on the same day, suspects Felix Nyako and Nicholas Kinney, aged 16 and 17 years respectively, lured the deceased to the uncompleted building and hit him with a club and cement blocks, killing him instantly. Suspects after that buried deceased in the uncompleted building, awaiting his removal in the night for ritual purpose. The body of the deceased has since been deposited at the police hospital mortuary, awaiting autopsy and preservation, while the suspects have been detained to assist police with investigation. Investigations are ongoing. Police would like to use this opportunity to urge the general public that whoever has information concerning the death of Ishmael Mensah should kindly go to any police station near them, or can go to the Kasoa Divisional Police Command, or can call the toll-free number 18555 to assist the police with investigation.
So residents of the area have responded to this. They say they will lynch the suspects if the police grants them bail. Now, it's been days since this incident was first reported, but the shock is still fresh for many people. The question on a lot of minds is, what will make young boys do this to an 11-year-old for money? Pressure, sheer wickedness, or name it? Well, we've been joined by the Vice President of the Psychiatric Association of Ghana, Dr. Ruth Owusu-Antwi, to get into why this would happen, and especially with young people like this. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Let's get into the mind of young people. What, like Sam will say, what in the world will make two teenagers kill an 11-year-old boy in this gruesome manner?
Good morning, Bernice. Good morning to your listeners. This is a rather extremely sad news. You wonder where the world is getting to when you hear stories like this. Nevertheless, it is not the first time such an incident has occurred. In other parts of the world, I think the youngest murderer has been found to be 8-year-old, and you automatically realize that this is not usual. This is not normal. This is unheard of. As far as I'm concerned, the story is saying that these young people who did the murdering of their colleague friend or their younger friend had in mind to get more money or to get sakawa. When children or adolescents think about getting money like this and decide to use gruesome means like they have done, obviously there would be an underlying mental health challenges, and we should not only be interested in punishing these ones, but we should be able to seek good mental health for them so that such a crime does not repeat itself. In fact, when you look into the literature, children who commit murders like this would have done it severally, or if it goes overlooked, they are likely to repeat it. What is possible is a disorder we call contact disorder. Contact disorder is generally, or in layman terms, I would say that it is children who commit societal vices that are inappropriate for their age and that is over the societal norms, or that is against the societal norms. I mean, when you get 11-year-old, for instance, what you expect, the social vices you expect the child to do is steal maybe one meat from the soup, for instance, and then they get punished for it. But if an 11-year-old, for instance, is actually breaking into somebody's home in the night or whilst they are awake to steal, that kind of vice or that kind of deviancy is above the societal age. It's above the deviancy of that age group, and so possibly that child we can say that child is suffering from contact disorder. Likewise, a teenager, 18. When you look at the story, some are saying they were 17 and 18. Some are saying that they are 18 and 19.
Well, the police actually says they are 16 and 17.
Well, that even makes it more serious, for children with that age, actually murdering another child, that puts them in that category of a contact disorder. And most children who suffer from contact disorder will progress into what we call antisocial personality disorder. And this is when we do not do anything about it, when we get it at the age of contact disorder. And when we go into the background of these 16 and 17-year-old, it is likely that we'll find out that right from childhood, they have shown some of these deviant behaviors. They are children who are cruel, even to animals. They are the kind of children who go running after lizards just to kill them, running after chicks in the community just to kill them or to break their legs for no apparent reason. They're actually cruel, not only to humans, but to animals as well. They refuse to go to school and stay in the class. They run away from schools. They will miss days. They are seen in the society as troublesome children, but most of the time, underlying the behavior of these children is the disorder we call contact disorder.
All right.
Progress into antisocial personality disorder when they go above 18, and they end up as armed robbers, as rapists, as all sorts of social deviants.
All right, Doc, are certain people born with this tendency to be cruel or to mete out such wickedness?
It is difficult to say they were born with it, although literature says that a little bit of genes can account for it. But largely, the risk factors for children developing this kind of conduct disorder or this kind of cruelty is more of societal, more of kind of upbringing they get. If children grow in a society, in a particular community where there's high rate of crime, high rate of deviancy, or they grow in a home in which the parents themselves are involved in some form of social vices or substance abuse, or there is conflict even in their upbringing. The mother says that this child should be caned for this disorder. The father says, so leave him, let him go. He is a small boy. When there's conflict in upbringing and stuff like that, these children are likely to end up with conduct disorder. So largely the cause of conduct disorder is more environmental, the kind of environment the child grows up in and the kind of upbringing they get.
Talking about the environment they grow up in brings me to my next question. Some have suggested that the area in which these guys live in is known for fraud. And they see the evidence of it in other young people driving the latest models of very expensive cars. Can that alone, can that desire to be rich alone compel someone to act in this way?
You see, we all go to school, and because we are told by our elders, our parents, that go to school, learn hard, get a good job, and be comfortable in life. So having the desire to be rich, having the desire to make it in life alone is not a problem. It's not a problem at all. But it is when you decide that there is one particular means or a shortcut to that riches. And that shortcut involves actually a life of another person. That is what brings up the problem. That is where the problem lies in. So seeing, if you live in a rich neighborhood and everybody is rich, and that can motivate you, you are correctly provoked onto good works. You are correctly provoked to also aim high. But if your attempt to aim high will land on using dubious means, then that is a big problem. That in itself is the problem. And indeed, the community in which that individual lives also likely informs how they get to that richness. If they talk to elders in that community and they are saying that, well, the only means to get here and the shortcut is to go and murder another person, bring body parts, then that is where the problem lies with that particular community. And so I will not only blame these people. I started that the environment in which they are raised up is also known to be a risk factor. What were the elders telling them? I am sure they talked to somebody. Once they are bringing body parts, probably they talked to a fetish priest somewhere who advised them that that is the means to become rich. That is where the problem is. And so the society in which these kids found themselves, the mentors they found in their lives, also have to be blamed for this kind of disorder.
Doctor, how do we manage or treat conduct disorder in children?
It is a lot of behavioral therapies. The clinical psychologists and child psychologists will handle such children. There is little room for using medications, and because it is a lifelong thing, if you don't treat them, like I said, it will progress. The moment they cross the 18th year, it changes, the diagnosis changes from conduct disorder to antisocial personality disorder. And of course, from the name, antisocial, they are anti whatever societal norms there are. And so basically they go through a lot of behavioral modification. Their parents are taking through therapy how to raise these children up. The society at large is also has a role to play. They are encouraged to put up a lot of recreational facilities where these children can channel their energies into. There should be, for instance, a small stadium or a football park where these children can go and release their excess energy instead of channeling it into some of these crimes and deviant behaviors. There could be a library in the community where they can sit there and actually read and get more knowledge. And if you have society with these children and some of these recreational facilities are unavailable, it becomes a challenge. And so one of the strategies is to put up these recreational facilities, in addition to managing the behavior, called it cognitive behavioral therapy. The behavior extends up from their mind, what their thoughts are telling them, and then the psychologists tend to modify it and then also involve their parents into the best way to raise them.
Thank you very much for your time, Dr. Uzo is Vice President of the Psychiatric Association of Ghana. I want to believe that you've learned something, picked some advice or two, basically stemming from this rather disturbing story from Kasoa.